Guys, what's up? This is Ron here, and in this King of Fighters All-Star video, I'm going to form an overview of what are the things that is going around in the game right now, and I'm going to talk about the subtle changes that happen in the game and what should we do according to that, and what should be our approach to face those things. And regarding that, I'll be talking about the lessons that we learned from this recent SS banner and the reaction that people actually made towards it. And I'll also talk about the intention of people of wishing to have more damage dealing characters. Is it good or not? I'll also touch something about the power creep thing, and I'll explain about the power creep and how it is affecting you or how it matters. And these sort of things that actually give you an overall idea or a bird's eye point of view of the game that you actually need to understand if you are planning to play this game for a long time, my friends. Because if you are someone you're playing this game for a day or two or month, then it's a different thing. But if you actually love this game, then you have to make long-term plans, and actually you need to understand this type of subtle changes and make an overview of the game, because to ensure your survivability in the game, as well as clearing all the game modes and getting success as well. And usually I don't talk in details about these things in my other videos, because mostly those videos are targeted towards instructional purposes, and if I add these details in those videos, that will make them a lot longer. So let's go, guys, and check out these things that I'm going to talk about today. And make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done already, my friends. So let's get into our topic today. Now, the first point that I'm going to discuss about is the lesson that we learned from the recent SS banner, that where we had this SSK and this beautiful SS Kula. And SS Kula is a great character, but to some extent SSK is not up to the mark, or it somehow failed to fulfill the expectation of lot of players, and a lot of players are actually pissed off due to his performance or anything. Now the thing is, we need to understand that why people were unhappy about this character, and the main reason is this character was compared with SSQ. And we all know that SSQ is one of the best character in the game. Regardless of BS, SS or whatever, he is one of the top damage dealer, and if not the best, or I would say number one or number two, I don't know, but he will be among the first two top damage dealing character in the game without any doubt. And the problem is, he has actually set a benchmark of damage dealing, and that has actually become a standard for any SS character. And that has kind of become fatal to this guy, because this guy was once again, this is a kind of I would say a really ironical thing, because in the actual KOF lore, he is kind of intermediate by Kyo, and this is why he kind of hates Kyo. And that same thing happened here. In the King of Fighters All-Star lore, people actually compares him with Kyo and says that he is a kind of an inferior version of Kyo. And here in the game also people are talking about people are comparing him with SSQ and saying the same thing. And of course SSQ is a great damage dealer, and he's an attack type character, and K-Dash is a balance type character, so it is usual that his damages will be a lot lower. But does this thing make this character useless or bad? Not at all, my friends, not at all, because if you are someone who were in need of a burn damage dealing character, and if you don't have SS Honoka or SS Kyo, those great burn damage dealing character, then this guy could have been a great help, and a lot of people are actually using him against the guild raid in hard mode against Rugal and clearing the mood with easily. So some of us who have stronger character than him like SSQ, they can actually claim that this character is useless, this character is bad, blah blah blah. But what about those players who don't have those characters? For those players, this character is a great character. And we have to understand this from a whole point of view. We should not only think about ourselves and our accounts. We should think about all the new players, all the intermediate players who are lacking certain characters, and these characters are already filling those gaps. Maybe not as good as Kyo, because SSQ is exceptional, and we know that in every game there are now and then they will release some certain very special meta characters, and SSQ is one of them. And it is very much usual that SSQ should not return in every banner, right? Like in every banner, if we have a strong character like SSQ, then what would be the ultimate result? That won't be good, and that will make the game boring. And another thing I have to mention that beside SSQ, SS Iori was also released, and nobody even talked about him at all. He was like almost like SSK, and he was totally ignored, and he is totally ignored. So we have to admit that there will be certain strong characters and there will be certain weak characters. We have to admit this fact first of all. But then again, this guy, it doesn't matter how weak he is or how low damage he is doing or whatever, if he is a balanced type, he is doing his job perfectly as a burn damage dealing character, without any doubt, my friends. So that brings us to our next topic, that is, what is the damage amount that you are looking for? How many damage actually you want, or how many damage do you need? My question is, do you really need high damage dealing character, or do you need the exact and appropriate relevant character with modest damage abilities and relevant dots? That is the question, and let me explain this by a simple comparison. Let me use SSQ as another example to illustrate this thing. Now all we know that SSQ is a great damage dealing character, no doubt, and he deals a ton of damage. But guess what? In certain game modes, he will be totally useless if he is not accompanied by certain dots. For example, though he is one of the top damage dealing character, he is kind of useless against lunatic mode, against Gee's guild, due to the simple fact that he doesn't have shock damage dealing ability. Yes, he has Starlight that can be used in hard mode, but in lunatic mode he has no use if there is no shock damage dealing striker, my friends. And if we compare BS Ignis with SSQ, then definitely SSQ is way more high damage dealing character than BS Ignis. But guess what? BS Ignis is the most appropriate character for lunatic mode against Geese. He has shock and he deals immense amount of damage, and he is way more successful than Kyo. For example, you can do a certain amount of damage with a 5-star awakening Kyo, but with only 3-star awakening Ignis, BS Ignis, you can entirely one key clear the lunatic mood. That is possible, and a lot of people has done this already. So The question is, what do you want? Do you want high damage dealing character or do you want appropriate damage dealing character, my friends? Let me know in the comments. Also, another fact is, in whatever game mode you play, whether it is guild or immortal boss or anything, you actually need a certain amount of damage. For example, in lunatic mode, you actually need 715 million damage and not more than that. In immortal bosses, you need 500 million damage, not more than that. In expert mode guild, you need 409 million exactly, I guess. Yes, and not more than that. And you can actually do a lot more damage. People does 1 billion, 2 billion or even 3 billion damages. But guess what, my friends? That is actually for fun and that will not give you anything else. You just need to make sure that you meet those damage requirement at least, and that's all, my friends. You don't need to go above that. 750 million, 15 million for lunatic mode will give you 2 boxes, and even if you do 3 billion damage in lunatic mode, that will also give you 2 boxes, my friends. So what is the difference? Still, a lot of people actually goes after the higher amount of damages. I don't really blame them. It is totally their game. It is up to them. But if you are an F2P who is not going to spend money in the game, then you need to have to be really cautious about these things, and you should not do or go after such type of luxury, my friends. You have to be really cautious. In spending your rubies or going after your characters, you have to be really selective, my friends. So that brings us to the next topic that we are going to talk about, and that will be power creep. Now, we have heard a lot about power creep in different videos. Big YouTubers are talking about power creep. So what is this power creep? And let me just explain this in a very easy way. So basically, power creep means something that one character overtaking another character. For example, one banner there is one character, next banner there is stronger character, the another banner is even more stronger character, the next banner is even more stronger character, and it goes on, and that is called power creep. And it all started with the release of BS Volume 1, when these two characters, BS Rugal and BS Orochi, arrived, and they kind of broke the game. The game was totally different before they arrived. And guess what? Within a very short time, Netmarble actually brought this SS or Special Signature Volume 1 with SS Mai and SS Athena. And guess what? They turned out to be even stronger than BS Volume 1. And these two ladies kind of displaced BS Rugal or BS Orochi from the top 2 position, and actually Mai became the number 1 character. But once again, very soon, Netmarble brought with this BS Volume 2 banner with these two characters, BS Geese and BS Geese Elite, and guess what? As usually, they overtook the previous 2 characters from the SS banner, that is SS Mai and SS Athena, or previous BS character, BS Orochi, BS Rugal. They went way below than them, and these 2 characters became the new meta. Then Netmarble released this SS Volume 3, SS Volume 2, and guess what? SS Kyo to the top part. He basically overtook everyone, and he became the new king. And then again, BS Volume 3 came, and BS Zero Original and BS Ignis actually took over everyone. But still, SSQ is very strong. But the main point is, look at the structure of the banner. One banner defeating another. The next banner becoming stronger than the other one. The more banner coming, the stronger it goes. But how long? For how long? because this sort of ladder is kind of endless and people's expectation will never end. Today here is SSKO, considered as a very damage dealing character. Who knows that BS Ignis can be even more damage dealing character than him. Then what? Then we'll be asking for more. That is the natural human tendency. Human beings are never ever happy with whatever they have. They always want for more. They always want for more damage in the game as well. So that power creep thing is actually nothing good for any game. And if Netmarble choose to keep on going with that power creep thing, that would have been devastating. But actually Netmarble took a wise decision and they actually broke this power creep thing with this SS banner, that is SSK and SS Kula. And we can say that this is the first banner in, I would say, within a year. This is the first ever banner which came out something weaker than the previous banner, and that was kind of unimaginable in like 3 or 4 months ago. We always knew that the next character or next banner is going to be the stronger than the current one, but this banner kind of broke the stereotype. And I don't know what people will say, but personally I think Netmarble took this decision, and this is a wise decision, because at some point they had to make this decision, because if they let this power creep thing go up and up and up and up, it would eventually break the game, and eventually the game itself is a software and it will not be able to handle those sort of bigger and bigger things if the ladder is somehow unending. So they had to cut back those things, and unfortunate for those guys who participated in this banner, they're kind of unlucky that they found these characters actually who are way low, were kind of less stronger than the previous banner. So Netmarble is consciously doing this, and consciously they are ending this power creep thing, which is overall very good for the game. I'm really sorry for the ones who actually summoned these two characters, and especially SSK is a frustration, but still he is a frustration for the players who have dealt with SSKO. But for beginners or intermediate players who don't have this character, these two characters are still very good. But in somehow Netmarble is trying to create a balance. They are trying to reduce this power creep and trying to bringing things in normal. And but you can ask that, hey, how come Netmarble do this end this power creep thing, and we will be not getting this powerful SSKO or SS other BS characters? No, my friends, those characters will eventually return, and I have a feeling that Netmarble will eventually bring some sort of stone mechanism that will allow you to get the original imprint stones of those characters, because if they move along with this ending of power creep thing, then they should do something whenever the previous banners are having a rerun. The final point I am going to emphasize on today's discussion is the relation between Netmarble and SNK. And for you guys who don't know what is SNK, SNK is actually the mother company of who actually invented the King of Fighter lore or King of Fighter game, and they are the sole owner of the King of Fighter series itself, and they actually made this contract with Netmarble, who is an independent game developer. And the thing is, there are a lot of things goes between this SNK and Netmarble whenever Netmarble is actually releasing any banner or any character. And actually there is a lot of approval and correction and all those things that goes between, and Netmarble cannot actually release any character at their will or attribute that character with certain design or maybe certain abilities or anything, or make certain characters strong. This is not Netmarble's own decision, my friends. This decision has to be approved by SNK himself. So all the way we talk about Netmarble, we talk about Netmarble's failure, Netmarble giving us, not giving us this, Netmarble not giving us that, but we also need to know and understand that actually SNK himself or SNK themselves actually playing a big role which is remaining unnoticed. And in the developers interview, actually the developer, one of the developers who is kind of a guy who is kind of outspoken type of personality, and he expressed his kind of frustration that they had to actually go through a long process whenever they are going to approve a certain design of a character, or they're going to launch a certain character, and SNK actually exercise a great control over the character's design, ability, strength and everything. And Netmarble actually has no right to release a character or attribute this character with certain strength or dots or anything unless it is totally approved by SNK. And one of these striking example of this is Omega Rugal. He is one of the most popular, and I would say the most popular boss in the entire King of Fighters series. But guess what? Currently he is one of these weakest boss syndrome characters, and almost no longer he is used in most cases at all because of his lack of his certain, he doesn't have dots. He has some bleeding, but that is just for momentarily. He doesn't have any sort of immunity in his core or anywhere else, so that makes him a lot vulnerable when there are a lot of characters ahead with immunity and all those exceptional cores. So what we understand from this point, we understand that popularity of a character really doesn't matter. And the same thing goes with BS Orochi, who is currently considered the weakest of all BS characters, my friends, period. And that is kind of unfortunate because technically Orochi should be the strongest BS character because he is not even a human being. He is a god. He is not a fake god, but he is a true god. But guess what? He is now the weakest boss syndrome character ever. So what we understand from these points? We understand from these points that popularity actually doesn't really matter. Netmarble has nothing to do with popularity of these characters. And there is no logical reason that a popular character may be strong or stronger. The popular character actually may not be stronger. Let me explain by another example. Geese Howard right here, he is one of the most popular bosses in the King of Fighter universe, and definitely he is way more popular than Chrysalid. Chrysalid is almost not popular boss at all, but guess what? Geese Howard is currently on tier 3 in terms of character strength and usability. But on the other hand, this less popular Chrysalid, he is on tier 1 and he is still highly relevant and very much active character in the game through different game modes due to his exceptional cores and exceptional dots. So of course you can ask and say that, hey, these characters are BS Volume 1 characters, so they should be really weak, right? And the latest characters should be stronger. But the thing is, my friends, whenever Netmarble and SNK actually started to and planned and decided to launch this boss syndrome banner, the entire series of characters was fixed and pre-planned, and they already knew by then that they are going to make what character strong or which character is going to be weak, which character is going to be what dot or which character is going to have what dot and what not. These all things are already pre-planned whenever even this Boss Syndrome Volume 1 was not even released. Because this is how the game company operates. They actually pre-plans things before 1 year ahead or so. So we can assume that the Netmarble and SNK both deliberately made these two popular bosses, this BS Orochi and BS Rugal, as the least strong BS characters. Yes, I see that, I can see that, I am saying that this is deliberate because the popularity of these characters are immense. There is a lot of people who are big fan of these characters and they pull these characters regardless of whether they having dots or anything at all, because they just love these guys. But see, in terms of usability, the less popular character like Chrysalid, for example, he is way more useful than these two characters. So there is a certain equation that of course Netmarble and SNK will want us to pull all these characters. So if they attribute the most popular characters with the most strong dots and abilities, then of course everyone will go after them and no one really will care about the less popular characters, because first of all they are least popular, and then if they don't have exceptional cores and dots, then what's the point of getting them, right? So these were the points that I was thinking over the week and I wanted to share with you guys, because I wanted to share with whatever views I'm having about the game and in what direction the game is going on. And I have showed you some facts that things are actually changing, and you should not expect that the next banner will be stronger than the previous banner. And Netmarble has actually moved themselves from that particular way of thinking or moving forward, and that is a good thing overall for the game, because a power creep is something that if you cannot control, it will destroy the game. So I hope this video was some sort of full of some sort of information, was able to give you some sort of information at least. I don't know how helpful it was, but I just shared some facts and some information with you, and that will actually help you to form your opinion, your summon decisions and everything that is related to the game, because changes are coming and you have to adapt yourself with the changes, my friends. Hope to see you guys soon in some other videos, and if you find this video useful in any ways, give this video a like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done already. See you soon guys, stay safe and stay awesome, peace out.